Steve Bowers welcoming you to Dialogue here at E Plus TV 6. Willi X Evans, Nashville and Parts Unknown, and Donnie Winters is going to be our special guest. Willi, it looks like you're set up at the Legends of Tennessee Music Museum again.
I sure am. Hey, August. Hey, Max. Hey, Millie.
Okay, you have found a way to get into. You found a way to perpetually get in the museum free.
There you go.
We want people to know that are watching this. The museum in downtown Jackson at the Carnegie, which is on College Street, is open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday, and it is a great place to visit. Well, it's got the history of music here in West Tennessee right there.
You're a guitar fanatic. This is it. It's got guitars in every room.
Yeah. What you're seeing right over Willie's head is the original awning of the original Hard Rock Cafe in the United States. There was one in England when it came to the United States. It was at the Old Hickory Mall, and that was it, London, Jackson, Hard Rock Cafe. And at that point, that's all there was.
Wow.
So it's special stuff. It's special stuff. Well, tell us about our special guest, Willi.
This guy I do know well. I know him personally. He was a dear friend. I met him as soon as I got up there to Nashville, and we started playing together, and we still play together now. He'll be coming here,
Right.
and hopefully, come more than just a few times.
Right.
This is the one and only Mr. Donnie Winters.
Donnie, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are y'all?
Good. Yeah, we're doing well. It's good to have you. Good to have you with us, and appreciate you coming to Jackson, Tennessee. Look forward to more. Donnie, where are you from originally?
Do what?
Where are you from originally?
Right here. I grew up in Nashville.
You grew up in Nashville.
Yeah, well, I was born in Miami, but I've been here since I was about 3 or 4 years old.
Okay, didn't have anything to do with that. Well, so no Miami stories. We're just start with Nashville stories is what we're going to do.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
I don't have too many Miami stories. Anyway.
Well, there's a whole unique set of music down there for sure. That's, many special things have done. We talked to Norman Putnam one time, and he said, that Jimmy Buffett started bringing the song and said, man, we need to go to Florida to record these, get some sand in our shoes. And so took off.
Well, my grandfather had a band that was kind of where my father got started.
Okay.
And he was out of Miami, and the name of the band was Pop Winters and the Southern Strollers.
Okay. So what were they doing? What kind of music were they doing?
Oh, country and one of the popular tunes from the day.
Okay.
I mean, everything from Eddie Arnold to whatever was popular on the radio.
All right. So music has always been in the family then.
Oh, yeah.
So did your dad go to Nashville? Did your dad go to Nashville? Is that how you got up there? Or?
Oh, yeah. Dad came to Nashville, like I said, in the very early 50s to get in the business. I mean, all his friends and family in Miami told him that he needed to go to Nashville.
Okay.
And so he packed up and moved us all up here when we were all real young.
Okay, amazing.
Been here ever since.
All right, so in essence, raised in Nashville. So what did your dad do when he got there, Donnie?
He started recording pretty much right off the bat. One of his early records was a rockabilly hit called Be My Baby Baby, and the flip side was called Silver Moon. Several people have covered those over the years.
Did he write those?
Did
he write those or?
Yeah,
Okay.
those are original, and he was a songwriter as well.
Okay.
As a performer, and then after that was on like Coin Records, which I think was owned and operated by Nashville disc jockey Noel Ball.
Okay.
From back in the day. I mean, he was a legend at one time. But then when he left Coin Records, he went straight to RCA Victor and spent several years and did several singles, never an LP, but did several singles on his own and with his sister, Rita Robbins.
Okay. What was their performing name, Donnie? They performed under what name?
Don Winters and Rita Robbins.
Okay, so he just used his name, Don Winters and Rita Robbins. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, all his solo records were under Don Winters.
Winters, okay. So he recorded how long?
Oh gosh, I say from the early 50s till probably, well, the last album he recorded was an independent project called Donnie Winters, the Yodeling King.
Okay.
He was a mighty fine yodeler.
Okay. Back in the days, which Margot Smith, a lot of other people kept that tradition going for a long time. Yeah, it sure did. Yeah, man, that's good stuff. Was he doing a lot of writing as well?
Yeah, he wrote several songs that Marty Robbins had recorded for him, as well as Carl and Pearl Butler. Okay. Let's see, what was the one? Carl Butler had a big hit with one. God, I can't think of the name of it right off. No.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happens to us, but that does happen to us. Donnie Winters is with us. So your dad's in the music business, and so when do you start in the music then?
Well, I had my first cut as a songwriter when I was a freshman in high school, and I was found out what an instant celebrity was when I went to high school, and that's good. But anyway, I actually appeared on one of Ralph Emery's morning shows.
Okay.
After Marty had released the album that my song was on, and I was surprised that so many of my fellow students got up that early.
Got early to watch that show because it was early morning show. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So you're in the ninth grade. So who pitched that song for you?
Actually, Marty, because my dad was actually singing harmony with him at the time.
Oh, okay.
He was under Marty's employ. And my dad and I co-wrote it. And I think Dad sang it for him, or we went in and did a demo at Marty's little demo studio right there at his office.
Okay.
And I think that's where he heard it. And I mean, it was kind of an in-house pitch, you might say.
Okay, yeah. Well, hey, it gets on the album and gets you on the radio and gets you on Ralph Emery.
Oh yeah, so it didn't buy my first car, but it did my second.
Okay. What was the name of the song?
Do Me a Favor.
Do Me a Favor. All right, with Marty Robbins. And so there's work of Donnie Winters. So ninth grade already got a song on an album from a country star.
Yeah, the album was called My Kind of Country.
Okay, wow.
It was like 1965, I think, 66. Yeah.
Well, Donnie, what's it like to peak in the ninth grade?
Well, that really pole vaulted, my whole involvement with music. Because from there on out, I was playing like school bands, and
right.
I started having a little school band when I was still in grade school.
Oh wow! Okay.
I started playing guitar when I was 13, so we're looking at like 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
And I would go around after recess. I would go around with my band, and we would play for the underclassmen.
Okay.
And it's amazing because I belong to some of those groups on Facebook, and it's amazing how many of the underclassmen remember when we
okay. Oh yeah, well, when you're an upperclassman, you count. You live in our minds forever, right? That's the way it works. Yeah, that's the way it works.
It was cool.
Yeah. And Donnie Winters Donnie Winters is our guest. We got him on Ralph Emery when he's in the 9th grade already with an album cut. And we're going to find out where he goes from here as we continue. This is Dialogue at E+ TV6. Welcome back to Dialogue at E+ TV6, the Willi X Evans Nashville and Parts Unknown Special Edition. Willie is at the Legends of Tennessee Music Museum on College Street in Jackson, Tennessee. That's the Carnegie Center. They're open from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. If you haven't visited this museum, you need to go. Talk with Donnie Winters. So, Willie, we always find out different ways to get to Nashville, and Donnie just hitchhiked, when he was 3.
He just up and moved there with
up and moved when he was and an album cut from Marty Robbins in the 9th grade.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. You know, here you and I are at the other end of this life, and we ain't had either one. You know, so there are other ways to do it. Willie, appreciate you introducing us to Donnie.
Yes, sir.
So Donnie, you're in the bands, and you're following the path that so many do. We get in these garage bands and all this other stuff. And so, when did it become a career?
Actually, when my brother and I started the Winters Brothers band.
Okay.
Is when it became more of a career. Now, he and I started writing songs together as well. And Marty recorded several, I'd say probably a total of about 10 of our songs over the course of his career, Marty's career.
All right.
And then I think it was like the mid 70s that my brother and I decided to start our own band. We'd gone and seen the Allman Brothers and the Marshall Tucker Band, the Outlaws, and you know, great Southern bands, as well as other great rock and roll bands. And that's what kind of put the fire in us, you know, to want to do it.
All right.
I did have a short stint of about a year where, after Marty had his first heart attack in the fall of '69, and he was recovering, I happened to be at his office one day, and he asked me to start learning the licks to The Pass, which is what he called El Paso.
Okay.
Which was one of his greatest hits.
Yeah, great hits, yeah.
And so he asked if I would play lead guitar for him on the Grand Ole Opry until he could get his original band or
back.
who was left, you know, out there. Because well, after he had his heart attack, he let everybody go except for my dad and Bobby Sykes, who were the harmony singers.
Okay.
And when he finally did get back to work, he just kind of limited himself to like Las Vegas, Reno, and Tahoe, and you know, the big shows where he would just use the house band.
Right.
But he would always use my dad and Bobby Sykes for the Marty Robbins trio work.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. So so they would go as the Marty Robbins trio, and then so you worked with him on the Opry then?
Yeah, for about a year.
Okay.
I played the Grand Ole Opry with Marty. I mean, I was not prepared for that, but it was like what, trial by fire.
Yes.
You might say. And every time I played was a learning experience. And
what is different about playing the Opry, Donnie?
Oh, it's just overwhelming with all the tradition and the aura, you know, of just being on the same stage that Hank Williams and Patsy Cline, Cowboy Copas, and all them, Hawkshaw Hawkins, you know, had all played on. And matter of fact, a good friend of mine and I took a little stenographer's notepad with us one time when my dad would take us, you know, to the Grand Ole Opry. We were just kids, and we got everybody that we would just walk up to, and backing musicians, staff musicians. We get everybody's autograph.
Wow.
And
still got that, I hope.
Well, actually, I let my friend have it, and so, and his mom he left it at his mom's, and he has since passed away. So the last thing I've heard is that he's packed away in his mom's belongings.
Yeah.
And, I'll probably actually never see it again, but it would be nice to go through.
Yeah, that's special stuff.
Kind of relive.
It was still at the Ryman in those days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
I cut my teeth on the Ryman stage.
Where did you go with the Winters Brothers band then? Was this Southern rock that you guys were doing?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Oh yes.
All right.
Well, you know, there were several different versions of what was called Southern rock, and wasn't anything really the same, but it was similar, you know. And the thing that really made it Southern rock is the fact that these bands came from the South.
Okay.
And we all had kind of our own brand of rock and roll. Ours was a little more country based, but with a rock and roll beat drive, as well as like we were really more like Marshall Tucker than
Okay.
and Charlie Daniels.
Okay.
You know, that type of Southern rock, as opposed to the Allman Brothers or Leonard Skinner type.
Yeah, I remember there were a bunch of Grinder Switch. There were a lot of bands that worked in those days. Yeah. Okay.
We toured with Grinder Switch a lot. Stillwater. You remember Stillwater?
Okay. Yes. Okay.
And but the one we toured with the most was Charlie Daniels and the Charlie Daniels Band.
Okay.
We were opening act for them for almost 8 years.
Wow. What's that like? What kind of venues were you working in those days?
Oh, colleges mostly.
Okay. All right.
We did several of the volunteer jams at the Municipal Auditorium.
Okay. Yeah.
And but mostly it was the college circuit when we toured with Charlie. And the good thing about that was that, you know, you could always go back because of the audiences were always like a new audience every year.
Okay.
And for like 4 years, you'd be building a fan base. You know, from sometimes when they were freshmen, they would remember you their sophomore, junior, and senior year. Yeah.
Donnie, were y'all recording and were you still writing in those days?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. We wrote everything that we recorded.
Oh, is that right? Okay, so it was all original stuff.
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, we wrote ourselves, and pretty much arranged ourselves. Although Taz, the keyboard player from the Charlie Daniels Band, was our first and original producer. And we did one more project after the original album that we did. And Paul Hornsby, who had produced Charlie as well as the Marshall Tucker Band and several Capricorn acts, produced our second project.
Okay.
And we recorded 2 albums at Capricorn, and we were happy about that. That was one of our goals from reading the album credits, you know, from our favorite bands.
Yeah.
Was we always wanted to record at Capricorn, and we did. We ended up doing that.
Man, so you
awesome.
got into making Georgia with all that stuff then. That's fascinating because that's a special time. I mean, that's such a unique, because Charlie's on the way from being, you guys are rock and roll guys in essence, and he's on the way to becoming an established country act. I mean, it was an interesting evolution that occurred there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because
kind of watched that come down.
Yeah, it was. Well, I remember I was doing radio in the 70s and 80s, and a lot of the discussion was, what do you do with this product? I mean, country stations weren't ready to play Leonard Skinner or any of that other stuff. Eagles could get on there some, but there was this sense that this is headed a whole new direction out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so but I mean, there were some stations that took things on. Just like I had a friend that worked KND in Lubbock, and they were playing Ray Wiley Hubbard and all those other guys, Joe Ely and all those people. They weren't playing Conway Twitty and them. They had a whole different thing going, so it was an interesting time. Donnie Winters is with us. We're going to catch up with what he's doing now as we continue. This is Dialogue, a special edition of Willi X Evans, Nashville, and Parts Unknown, right here at E+ TV6. back to dialogue at E+ TV 6, a special edition with Willi X Evans, Nashville and Parts Unknown. Talking with Donnie Winters. Willi, you were working doing all that rock country stuff that was going on out there.
Yeah, we weren't doing what Donnie was doing.
we're touring with Charlie Daniels, but
That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, when he comes to town, if you want to hear some great, Western, Southern rock sounding music, he's the man to come and listen to.
Okay, all right. Donnie, where did it go after the Winters brothers?
Well, I said I kind of left the band because there really wasn't any money in it for me. And I was working really hard, and we were doing a lot of show dates, but there just wasn't any real money. We never really saw the financial side of the success thing. So I left the band in like December of '82 and went to work with a cover band, and made more money in 3 weeks than I had in the past 3 months with my own band. So, and then, like I said, I got married and we started having kids, and I got a real job framing houses.
Okay.
And I did that for a while, but I always continued to keep my feet in it. And I played with some cover bands at the time.
Interesting. Will you continue to write?
And during that time, I said I was also able to work in some originals, from the Winters Brothers band.
Right. Okay.
And then, let's see, about '94, I broke my heels and ankles in a construction accident. And it took me about 6 months just to recover and get to where I could walk again.
Oh, wow.
And at that point, I didn't want to go back to doing construction. So I started working on my own original material, and started thinking about, maybe trying to record a solo project.
Right.
It took me a while, but I finally got around to it. And I don't know if Willi showed you a copy of my CD. Matter of fact, I'm down to a point where I need to order some more.
All right.
But I put some newly written, and then I covered Shotgun Rider and Do Me a Favor, covered my dad's song You're Running Wild that he and my uncle wrote for the Logan Brothers.
Okay.
Back when I was just a child. And then I said there's probably less than a handful of covers. Everything else on there is original.
If people want to find this music and everything else today, where do they go? You got a website?
Yeah, Donnie Winters Music.
Okay.
.com.
DonnieWintersMusic.com and see. So Donnie, you've covered the gamut out there. I mean, you've seen Nashville go through all these evolutions. I mean, it's yeah.
I remember a day when you could walk down 16th, 17th, or 18th Avenue in Nashville, and you could knock on a door and go in and have one of the publishing reps, actually listen to your music right there on the spot.
Yeah.
But today it's gotten to a point to where you either have to know somebody inside or you need to have an appointment, which is all good and fine, I guess,
Right.
It's just a sign of the times.
It's a sign of the times. It's condominiums and everything else down there now rather than studios.
Oh gosh, yes. A lot of the landmarks that we used to use just to know where we were at are gone.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, just Nashville in general. My wife and I was coming back from a gig I'd played in East Nashville, and we crossed the Korean Veterans Bridge, and we got what used to be a real familiar part of town. And I looked over at my wife and I said, where the hell are we? I didn't recognize anything.
Not a landmark there. Yeah, it's the same thing on 16th, 17th, and 18th Avenue now.
Exactly.
Yeah, you go down there now and it's like, wait a minute, where did all these great little studios and publishing houses, all that's gone. All of it's gone.
I think Marty Robbins' studio is still there. He was at 713 18th.
Okay, on
Avenue,
18th Avenue.
Pete Drake and
Yeah.
Porter Wagner's places were just up the
Yeah.
street from there.
What year did Marty Robbins pass away? What year did he die?
December 8, 1982.
1982. Wow. It just, it was an interesting thing working with promoters in this area and stuff that had been in the business a long time, because they said Marty Robbins, they said he wasn't selling records. They knew something was wrong with the record business, because they said Marty Robbins will still draw a crowd anywhere we put him. He still has that fan base out there. Still has that fan base. It was just.
He still does. I mean, to this day.
Yeah. His son picked that up for a while. Ronnie, is he still working or?
No, I think he had some throat issues.
Okay.
And so singing for any length of time to do a show, it became difficult for him. So he just kind of retired, and he races stock cars.
Okay, still, which his dad was doing. Yeah.
And boats.
Yeah.
And boats, like racing boats.
Yeah, well, his dad was doing it in his life as well. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, Donnie, really good to have this opportunity to visit you. It's really, really special to talk to somebody that's covered the gamut all the way from Miami to Nashville, and saw Nashville the way it was. And like I said, on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, right there with Marty Robbins.
I appreciate you having me.
It is good. And we look forward to you being in Jackson, and we'll come see you anytime you're here, Donnie. We certainly appreciate the time.
I look forward to it.
All right, continue best. Our thanks to Willi X Evans for setting this up, Donnie Winters for being with us, and we appreciate you being with us as well. Stay with us here at E+ TV 6, because this is the place where the dialogue continues.
About 1974, Marty Robbins recorded this for my brother and myself, and it was our first Marty Robbins single at the time. Later, we recorded it ourselves on our debut, the Winters Brothers Band LP album, and it was the last single off that album for us. I like the song so much, I put it on my current CD, but I did a little different than Marty or the Winters Brothers Band did. Goes a little something like this.